that you are a beneficiary of the existence of the forest, one way or the other. Point at one thing in your house that does not have connection with the forest. I bet you're going to see your TV. I bet you something about your TV has something with the forest. You know what? Even the signal you catch, the forest contributes. Good afternoon and a pleasant welcome to another fascinating edition of the program. Forest Hour is brought to you by the Liberia Forest Media Watch with sponsorship from the European Union through the French Development Agency and Simempo in Finland. We are here every Thursday 4 to 5 o'clock talking about the natural resource sector of the country, the environment, mining, forest. And today I was having a conversation briefly with the executive director of the Environmental Protection Agency. I said to him, listen, we talk about, environmental issues on our platform. When would you come in to sit down and share with us, educate the public on some of the things you're doing? While on the sideline of that conversation, I was also opportune to meet one of the deputy ministers at the Ministry of Mines. And I also told him the same. At the same time, Loretta Popkai, my sister, long time from the Civil Society, was also in that very gathering. Yes. And I share with them that it's a very important thing. Let's have a conversation on these things. But anyway, that's why we're here this afternoon. We're here for two different reasons this afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to give you information on the upcoming Forest Forum, Liberia National Forest Forum, organized by the Forestry Development Authority. We're going to be hearing from the Deputy Managing Director for Community Conservation and Carbon at the Forestry Development Authority, Madam Nora Buyo. Madam Buyo will speak to us briefly on the National Forest Forum. In fact, I should have had Madam Buyo on the line to talk about this, but fortunately, she was at a function that I attended, so I used one stone to kill two birds. I just conducted the interview, edited it, so I can give Joy the chance to take a breather. She's always, I don't know, but somehow we're going to talk off the mic. Yeah, so I'm going to play that, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about a very important topic, abandoned logs. But this is one of the most detailed stories I've read in a long while. It is so detailed that the author made us to travel from one county to another. Doing what? Showing us pictures, imaginary pictures of what people are doing in abandoning logs in the country. He captioned the story, Unmasking Waste and Abuse of Forest Resources in Liberia. My name is Matthias Labindi. I'm here with my colleague Joy Madiemo. We'll be right back after this break. A
message from Wild Chimpanzee Foundation, produced by Eddie Theater Production.
My people, yeah, let's protect our forests. Protect it, we must protect it.
And that's right, we must protect it all. We must protect it all. That's the responsibility we all have. Let's quickly hear from Joy. When we come back, we bring you that, audio, that message. Very strong message. It's important that you listen to it. There is a pending National Forest Forum organized by the Forestry Development Authority, and we should have, called in the Deputy Managing Director for Community Conservation and Carbon at the FDA, Madam Nora Buyo. But fortunately, I met her somewhere and I conducted the interview. So it's about 5 minutes, 40 seconds. We're going to play that so you can listen to the message. The FDA is planning that event. Let's hear from Joy. Joy, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Matthias Labendi. Welcome too, even though you don't look too good. I don't know if you're trying to put an attitude on me or what, but howbeit, that's life.
Joy, you can be crazy sometimes.
Okay, we always have the alternative youth radio that is in Isosa, Lofa County. We have the voice of Babulu in the Bobulu City. We have Liberty Radio in the Greenville, Sano County, Radio Halengi that is in the Golahon District, and the Riverside Broadcasting Service in the Riverside County. So these are the stations that are relaying this program in the various counties. So in case you are having bad network, probably you're watching from online or you're trying to catch OKFM and the network is just not giving you a chance, these are the stations you can follow in the various counties. Thank you.
And that's it. So in case you are having issues, like you heard from Joy, you're having network problem, you maybe want to watch it online, as always, people would always log on to OKFM's page to watch the program, and also on YouTube, OKFM and TV on YouTube. But in case you're having issue getting online to watch that, you already listen to Joy. She's already giving you the various radio stations that you can, tune into in your respective counties and listen to the program. But let's go to the FDA now and take this message. It's important, and I'm sure, in fact, what Nora told me after the interview that she's appealing is that we reserve this coming Thursday for the managing director of the Forestry Development Authority to talk more about this event, and maybe we too will have a chance to ask questions about the Forestry Development Authority and forest as a whole. But right now, let's take this message from the Deputy Managing Director for Community Conservation and Carbon about the National Forest Forum that is slated for November.
The National Forest Forum is a national event that is going to be bringing a wide array of stakeholders together to dialogue around forestry issues in Liberia. So that event will convene communities, government agencies and institutions, civil society, international NGOs, donors, partners. We will come together for 3 days, focusing on how we can ensure that challenges that are affecting forestry in Liberia are addressed. We will have a reflection on what progress we have made, looking at different key themes. We'll talk about conservation, we'll talk about community forestry, we'll talk about commercial forestry, and we'll also talk about carbon.
You have a general theme of Liberia Forest Forum 2025, leveraging Liberia's forests for economic, social, and environmental sustainability. Tell us a bit about this general theme before mentioning more about the soft themes that you're going to be discussing.
The 4 pillars I just mentioned in forestry, those 4 pillars are what informs FDA work. So those 4 pillars are in line with that theme. The theme kind of captures 3 core elements. Conservation, which has to do with reserving some of our forests while we also use them. It also has to do with the social side, which has to do with people. People is a central part of forest governance. In fact, they are the priority. We also seek to ensure that the benefits from forestry are affecting people, so therefore the theme centers on the social side. The development side, we also aim to look at how we can increase revenue generation that then helps foster development, particularly national development for government and the country.
Are you selecting the participants, or is it going to be an open dialogue?
It is not going to be an open dialogue. We have categorized participants that will be selected. We have people coming from local communities. We have people coming from national government. We have people coming from local government. From the county level, the superintendents are also going to be there. And we have international partners that are working in Liberia that are going to be involved. We also have a few people coming from outside of Liberia, but those that will be at the conference will be invited officially to the conference.
So this event is for 3 days. What do you hope to achieve at the end of it? Because these 4 thematic areas that you're going to be focusing on during the event are issues that we've been confronted with since Rock of Ages, clear for me, in this forestry sector. How would the 3-day event transform anything in the sector?
So as a new administration, we got in on board 2024 and we are in 2025. This event is quite significant for us to engage with our stakeholder actors to help bring their perspective to the table on how we want to conduct forestry in Liberia. So as we conduct this event, we hope to get the inputs of the cross-section of stakeholders that will be coming on our proposed plans. We're going to be presenting ideas on how we want to do commercial logging, how we want to do community forestry, what kind of reforms we want to introduce. So with those things will be presented to our stakeholders, and we will be soliciting feedback and inputs from them. The stakeholders will also have an opportunity. Some of them will be presenting and giving an update on what is happening from their own perspective. So all these things will be brought together, and we all will review them and discuss them together and kind of find a way forward on forestry in Liberia. At the end of the conference, we want to have a declaration that captures, what we want to do going forward. We want to get commitment from our partners to continue supporting forestry in Liberia. We want to get commitment from the government. We want to also focus on interagency coordination. The forestry sector is just one sector, but we have other sectors whose activities cross-cut with forestry, for example, mining. We also have the land authority. That authority is responsible to deal with land governance in Liberia, and land issue and forestry issue can be separated. Certainly, we have to bring all these parties together and have a deliberation about how we can work better together. So we want to have, as an outcome from that, is a declaration about how these different agencies can better work together, coordination mechanism that speak to how we can better work together.
Is this something that's going to lead to you, drafting a kind of agenda that's going to guide you through the term that you're going to serve in your capacity as heads of the FDA for the period?
Yeah, this will cover the period we are in power. The Forest Forum normally runs for about 2 years. So hopefully in the next 2 years, we want to have another Forest Forum. The Forest Forum is kind of provide opportunity for reflection on how things are working in forestry sector. Have an opportunity for coming up with proposed plans and revisions to those plans and stuff like that. But we want concrete results from this forum. Therefore, we have to document the outcome into a declaration that will be signed by key actors in the sector.
When is this slated? Is it this month, October, or next month?
The Forest Forum is going to take place on November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Ministerial Complex.
Is there something else you would like to add, as we're providing information regarding the forum?
We're excited to be having this forum, and we're really looking forward to working with all our partners and stakeholders towards having a successful forum.
That's the Deputy Managing Director for Community Conservation and Carbon at the Forestry Development Authority, giving us information about the upcoming Forest Forum. It is a forum, just that is going to be an issue, an event where participants are going to be selected, well, which is fair enough, and I don't expect the FDA to open it up to a flooded, environment where maybe people without knowledge of the sector, and maybe they may not be able to ask the appropriate questions regarding the sector, to flood into the area and maybe just confuse the entire place, like the way we experience a lot of time on our platforms. And you wake up and you do lots of research on a particular subject matter, you get on the radio and you do analysis of the particular issue, thinking that you're about to open a line to, a public that would be, contributing entirely meaningful points to the discourse. Some people will either inadvertently or maybe unknowingly or ignorantly, will deviate from the core issue and then sometimes try to distort the real message. So, turning
it into politics.
Absolutely. So, inviting, for example, the Liberia Forest Media Watch to such a forum, the Liberia Forest Media Watch will be able to make meaningful contribution to the forum, because she reports the forestry sector extensively. This is a development-oriented media group that covers the entire country. We have more than 15 reporters across the country. People keep reaching out to us. International journalists keep partnering with us to go do investigation. Some of our reports are published in international, news magazines. So, you want to invite the Daylight, for example. You want to invite SDR. You want to invite MFGAP. You want to invite, CESDEF. These are organizations you want to have in the room, because these are some of the organizations are involved with conservation issues. Some are involved with capacity building.
Right.
So, this for me is a forum. FDA, trust me, this is, if this were a commercial show, I would have charged you for the extra, amplification of the message,
Of course.
that is being done right now. But this is for a show, and it is paid for. So we feel comfortable, contributing our quota to these discussion. Joy, is there something you would like to add to that before we get to to our main topic this afternoon?
No, because I'm actually angry that you are able to call me during the interview, so you handle it yourself.
No, actually, I was sent by the chief to attend a mining issue. Some program, some meeting. Basically, it's an introductory aspect of this meeting, where it's focused on the issue of mining and how mining is affecting the forest and the people. And it's organized by Integrated Development ADEL, and it was a very it was an eye-opening engagement today. So we should have had Nora on the line. Actually, this conversation should have been on the line.
Okay.
But being a producer, I said, well, I can do this interview and produce it. It'll be clearer. It'll seem like she's sitting right in the studio having a conversation with us. But let's get into it. Our next topic, you can, when we open the lines, you can also weigh in on what Nora said regarding the forum. I am very sure some of you are already brainstorming right now, thinking about, I think FDA is doing the right thing. Yeah, this is a way to go. And in fact, she mentioned that communities will be there, superintendents of various counties. So we hope to see all 15 superintendents of the 15 counties of Liberia.
That would be amazing.
It should be the case. All of them should be in that particular, EJS Ministerial Complex. We need to see all of the CFMB heads of the various community forests in the country. All right, we want to see all of the civil society organizations that are reporting on natural resource sector, even the ones that are involved into political advocacy also. They should be there.
They should be there.
All right, so it's a policy. They drive policy ideas.
They don't have to be there because they know it, or they have to be there to promote.
Sometimes they get to
contribute. Like
absolutely, yeah. They get educated about some of the things happening there. I don't have the time now to get into some of the discussion we had today, but because we are already playing this show, but it was an eye-opening conversation, Joy. We have a report. I'm going to share that report with you. Maybe you want to take time to read it. Sometime we may come back here and say that's what we're looking at. But we run a media organization called the Rural Reporters News Network.
Yes.
And in fact, the
part of that.
Rural Reporters News Network is a subsidiary of the Liberia Forest Media Watch.
Right.
So the Liberia Forest Media Watch is the host of the Forest Hour show. It is the host of the Rural Reporters News Network website. So the Liberia Forest Media Watch is also the host of all of the 15 of all of the journalists that are reporting for the Rural Reporters News Network, in the 15 counties.
Right.
So the Liberia Forest Media Watch is the umbrella, the mother organization. So, but this story, published by our reporter Junior B. Kesali,
You talk about research,
right?
Well-researched story, right?
Right.
And my mind went back to that Sabo National Park story.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Right.
How research this story. I read a story today at Crown Matai. I said, what kind of article is this? Bulky. Like, I am so grateful that it has so much information. Anyways, we don't have time for that. Let's just get into it.
I mean, it has so much information, and if you look at it, it's easy to discuss as well, because it's not something that you have to discuss a word for word, because basically talking about abandoned logs, there's something exactly that we've talked about over time. So Junior B. Kesali, this story was published by Front Page Africa. Thanks to Front Page Africa for always partnering with us.
Yes.
The Front Page Africa, Daily Observer, GNN News Network, the Liberian the Liberian Investigator, sometimes the Independent newspaper, sometimes the Inquirer newspaper.
Yes.
All of these smart news. All right.
Smart news.
Yeah, smart news.
Always.
We partnering with all of these people. They see our work. They say, you know what, you guys cannot publish all by yourselves. Bring it. bring the articles to us.
publish.
Leonard is always there. In fact, Leonard and I, we've built our relationship from day one. So getting to this point, it's just like, calling your brother, say, "Man, come, let's sit down and have dinner." So it's always a smooth relationship. But the story is captioned, "Unmasking Waste and Abuse of Forest Resources in Liberia, the Case of Abandoned Logs." So the story, the reporter took into consideration, I think, 4 counties. All right, 5 counties. The counties are Lofa, Sino, Grambassa, Nimba, and Bapulu counties. So all of these counties, the reporter took a time. Now, the reason why I refer to it as a research story, because he did not rely on his individual, investigation, that is findings, going on a field, gathering what you see on the ground, and then reporting. So what he did, he corroborated reports done by other news outlets in previous time, and then he connected with everything that he has gathered lately, and then wrote a very detailed article.
Yes.
So that's why he covered 5 counties: Lofa, Sino, Grambassa, Nimba, and Bapulu counties. So talking about in fact the issue of abandonment, the companies he reported about in this report that are involved in the report that have abandoned logs in several counties, the companies, in fact, it is dated between 2019 to 2024. This report.
And these are companies that we have discussed on the show.
Absolutely.
We have complained about them.
Right. People have called and then shared their thought as well. So at least 5 major logging companies, including Alpha Logging. If you hear the company name is in your county, just say, "Oh, you can confirm in your heart."
Right.
Yeah, you can just confirm in your heart, or better still, you hold your peace, or open the lines, then you speak to it. So it's Alpha Logging, Mandra Forestry, International Consultant Capital (ICC), Masayaha Logging, and Sin Africa Plantation. These companies are the companies that are involved in this report that the reporter has captured as the companies that are involved into abandoning logs. And according to the report, they have abandoned thousands of logs across the country.
Yeah.
In Sino County alone, Mandra Forestry is reported to have abandoned nearly 7,000 logs.
Imagine.
To decay.
Not for use, just die in the
Obviously now they will decay because the people do not have the resources to take them out, and sometimes too the processes leading to following all of the legal procedures in auctioning the logs, that may take a long time, and it may lead to the logs decaying. So Mandra alone, one company alone,
7,000
has left about 7,000 logs to decay in Sino County.
Reasons best known to
themselves. So in Nimba and Riverside counties, the ICC company, that is the International Consultant Capital, the ICC reportedly abandoned over 3,000 harvested logs.
Just say 3,000
Over 3,000 abandoned logs, harvested logs in that area. And guess what? Most of the species that are abandoned, they're not throwing the waste. Say, for example, maybe if you want to sow seeds, rice seedlings, those, you're not a farmer, but I'm a farmer. I know what it means. that you go after you clear a bush, you burn it. Those days we will burn it and clear the ground a little bit. Then we sow the.
For your information, I used to clean behind my mom's house and burn it there too.
Not sowing, they call it broadcast. We broadcast the rice seeds.
Okay.
Then you start to dig the ground to ensure that you mix it with the soil. There will be seeds that will fall on rock that will not grow. Those of you who are religious Christians, that there will be seeds that will fall in tongues that will struggle to come out. There will be seeds that will fall on rocks that will not grow, and there will be seeds that will fall on fertile soil that will germinate, and they will produce food. So these people are not throwing waste. They are throwing valuable forest assets Let me name some of the valuable, high value, species like Eki,
We have mentioned this over and over
Iroko,
again.
and Yankun. Those of you who are farmers out there, you listening to the trees that we're talking about, the category of species of tree species that these people are living in the forest to decay. Eki, Iroko, and Yankun. Eki, in fact, is considered as one of the strongest trees in the forest.
If not the strongest.
If not, it's one of the strongest trees in the forest.
Very valuable.
Very, very, very valuable tree.
Millions
But
of
these
dollars
people, they abandon these. And according to the information, the report, this represents millions of dollars in potential revenue that communities were promised as part of benefit sharing agreements, and revenue the government could have collected through fees and taxes. So meaning the losses can be calculated from different perspectives. One, the community did not benefit. The government did not benefit. Well, the companies benefited, so even the one that's left in the forest, they have nothing to lose. They have been able to harvest some of the logs and exported some, so giving the millions or billions that they made outside there, they don't care about the 7,000 species they left or 4,000.
I think at this point they were trying to pet the villagers, right? Our brothers and sisters, in the sense, they caught enough logs. Then they carry the first one that they know that they will invest their money out of the earth, the money that is spent, they get it out of it. Then they say that they once will soon take it out to make the people to be calm, so that they cannot feel that they are running
But
away.
the people stay, the people still get our trees, they still get our logs here. I get the point.
Saying, yes.
Right. I get the point you're making.
So when they got whatsoever they wanted to get, they left.
And they
So
never returned.
They never returned.
Let's shock you further. Let's shock you further in this report. According to forest issues trackers like Forest Trends and other media estimate, they estimate that 17,000 logs have been abandoned nationwide. More than 17,000 logs have been abandoned nationwide since 2019. And this figure of logs that have been abandoned is representing a potential market value of over $20 million.
Imagine what 20 million can add to the economy.
I mean, even agriculture ministry budget is around $16 million.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine what it can add to the company.
So
to
just give
the
that 20,
economy.
give the $20 million to FDA, for example, for operation, to increase manpower,
Yes, because they have been complaining on finances and all of that. So if you contribute, if that 20 million will be given to them, I believe they will do exploits.
Absolutely. But here is what we have: $20 million being wasted from 2019
first
to now. And my big brother, the former managing director of the Forestry Development Authority, C. Mark Doyen, takes a greater share of this responsibility, because there was so much lackadaisical attitude during his administration. I'm not saying, similar thing is not happening now, but man, that administration was difficult to even get their attention at the time.
Unbothered.
Unbothered. Very unbothered. I like
Right.
that. Very unbothered group of people. They were just there.
Like, we don't care what you guys
you
say.
make your
will not-
noise.
some people can say, I will not be taken or followed by peer pressure.
Right.
So if you want to say whatsoever, say it.
Just
I don't
say it.
care.
And guess what, Joy? One day I was fortunate to get him on the line. I mean, when the interview was getting to a certain level, it just lasted for 2 minutes. When I was about to get into my mood of interviewing, about to ask some of the hard questions.
Yes.
I mean, the people out there, like, you got network problem. I'm telling you.
As of
I'm telling
sorry
you.
to say.
He acted like he had network problem. And
you were getting him clear.
I was getting him very clear on the radio, live, right here, behind this very mic. I'm like, oh, God. I mean, he dealt with me. It's okay. Just go. So, I mean, folks, this is a summary. All right. So we have $20 million.
And apart from that $20 million, we're not even mentioning the land rental fees that these companies owe the people in the various counties. We are not mentioning the promises that was never fulfilled. The schools, the hospitals, the latrines, the hand pumps, all of those things. We don't even start talking about the cubic meter fees that the that was in due that they never pay. So if we will add all of those monies together, I believe it will be more than $20 million.
More than $20 million, absolutely.
Maybe
But
25 or something.
But Joy, here is another shocking aspect of this whole report. The reporter is a very good researcher. Thanks to all of the editors, in fact, that worked on this article to make it reach
Especially
like
Mr.
this.
Kanye.
So according to the regulation of the forestry law, regulation 116 and 117 and 17 of the Forestry Development Authority, it says once logs are harvested but not exported or accounted for, the FDA is required to launch an investigation within 10 working days, impose fines, triple the value of the logs,
Yes.
and seek a court warrant to seize and auction the abandoned logs. Why should we still have logs abandoned in the forest when
For
the law
years.
for years, when the law clearly gives FDA the mandate to ensure that it goes after
10
companies,
working days.
all right, companies that abandon these logs and auction the logs. So, for example, you have 7,000 logs abandoned in Sino County. So go to Sino, you get a court warrant, and say we have 7,000 logs here and thing. We want to auction the logs. Let the community benefit directly. So abandonment does not mean waste. So also, if you look at it, it's a two-way street.
But yes, it's anyways. Go
Right.
ahead.
It's a two-way street, Joy. Because while the company may abandon the logs, but it is the onus is on us to make the logs a waste or an asset.
How when these logs,
Right.
most of them they are rotten already.
We
They have
make them rotting because there's a period that logs can
Yes.
be declared abandoned.
Yes.
So if you left your log on the ground in the forest for after 10 working days,
Yes.
the law is clear.
Be fine. Of course.
Right. After 10
Fine.
working days, I
Times
notify
3
you.
of the amount.
Right. So Joy, you run this company and we notice that your log have been in the forest for 10 days. What happened? Oh, I'm trying to ship it and this and that. The truck and thing will give you the first fine.
Yes.
Pay. If
Then
you
you'll
fail
be
to
serious.
pay, we'll add that. Everything combined. When it gets to a certain period, we'll just go for the court warrant and auction your log. So the log does not have to get rotting if the
Right.
FDA is also implementing the law.
Yes.
That's another aspect of the argument.
Yes, Matthias.
All right. So
Yes.
the reporter, right?
When you say, oh, I'm trying to ship it, I'm finding means, and when you give them the first fine times 3 of the actual amount of the log, that will put the person in Zigo or the company in Zigo to want to ship the log and
Enjoy-
do the proper payment.
And Joy, guess what? Our
Blame.
forest hour is even quoted
Yes,
in
I
this
saw that.
in this
I was
report.
like-
So when we found out sometime 2024 regarding these reports, the reports of abandoned logs in various counties, and we contacted the FDA. In a shocking revelation made on our August 15, 2024 edition of the Forest Hour Show, the FDA that generates logging revenue said it is both financially and logistically incapacitated to monitor and enforce governance nationwide. So the continuous silence and or inaction by the authority has only fueled suspicions that officials and operators may be complicit in covering up the true scale of the problem that have resulted into the widespread waste and abuse of natural resources across the country. So you see what I said? Why I said that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why you see why I said that why the companies may be abandoning the logs, but we as a people, all right, most especially the people that we give authority to sit down and supervise certain areas, they're responsible. So Joy, before we come on the show every afternoon, we do our research.
Right.
We discuss the topic with the team lead, Paul Kane. We have the conversation with him and share with him that this is what we want to talk about. In fact, most time he suggests the topics. Then he said, okay, for example, you want to look at this article today to align your discussion to properly make your discussion substantive. You don't want to just go guessing on the radio. The onus is on you as the presenter to read that article and comprehend it properly, to come and present to the public so that the public can understand that indeed the people in the studio, they are well informed about the very issue they are discussing. If you do not do that, you're gonna embarrass the Liberia Forest Media Watch. You're going to embarrass the EU that is sponsoring the show. You're going to embarrass Simempu that is sending sponsorship. You're going to embarrass the French Development Agency. And yourself as a person. Mostly people may not have time for you because when the partners get tired, they take their support from you, then the show is now on the radio. What am I trying to say? The government, whenever there's an election is conducted, everybody is fronting for certain position in the government. I want to go to LRA. I want to go to FDA. You know, there's this man, I think he's a deputy minister, and I'm not going to mention his name. I remember a couple of months back, they sent him somewhere as director. I heard that he declined the president's appointment. He said, no, I do big to be a director somewhere, or a deputy, or I think assistant minister or something, until finally he was made deputy minister. So people see themselves that they are worth setting, level in a society, that they fit to
must get a certain position.
Exactly, and therefore they can perform. So when you are given a position as managing director of the Forestry Development Authority, for example, for a man like Mr. Rudolph Merab, that have been a businessman in this sector for a very long time, he understands the sector, he understands how it works. To not implement a provision of the law that gives him clear mandate to auction logs, it's a problem. That you can't blame that squarely on logistical support.
You know, on the other hand, I'm not trying to be harsh on the FDA right now because they just came in, right? And when you just come in, there are a lot of things that you need to settle. But before I dive into that, there was a statement made in this article. They said one of the local from the forest governance, or one of the local forest governance advocates, he said, the law is not the problem. The problem is lack of political will and the absence of transparency at the FDA. And I read it. At first, I was like, oh, yes. I mean, they should have immediately getting power, investigated, and start working and blah, blah, blah. But then I understand that there are lots of things on their decks that they need to take care of. There are lots of problems on hand. You know, you can solve all of the problems at once. I'm not trying to praise them or anything. At this moment, I'm just trying to encourage them. You cannot settle everything at once. But then on the other hand, small, gradually, you will not be able to investigate all of the 17,000 or over 17,000 abandoned logs. But while you're working on the other problems then on hand, you can also be investigating, okay, would you take Sano County, for example, the Mandra company that get over 7,000 logs. Okay, we'll just start investigating that one year, that one. Then while we're working on the other things and not just sit and do nothing. It has been, I think, almost a year or more than
almost a year since they took over. All right, it's more than a year now, since 2024. So
that would have been enough time to step in.
Absolutely. Enjoy talking about that. Our communities continue to complain about their broken promises. In towns like Bluyema is in Lofa County, Basso in Riverses, Boake Town in Grand Bassa, Koninka A, Bapolu, communities are demanding answers. Many had signed community forestry agreements with the expectations of roads, schools, clinic support, and annual land rental fees. You know, and these are some of the reasons why people invite these companies, these logging companies, in their communities. To the contrary, they are paid back with abandoned logs, environmental destruction, water pollution, and unpaid dues. One of the communities, Koninka A, is demanding $4 million in damages before it can proceed to review existing logging contract.
Who will pay that money?
The company.
I mean, if the company, I don't even know if they are still here.
Because you have to review the contract. You want to review your contract to see whether there's a possibility of extension.
So if the companies are not here anymore,
then there's no need to review the contract. Then the contract is terminated, and the people live with the pinch of bad deals.
Because there is an entity or not, let's say an organization or whatsoever it is that are not able to work in the law. Like you mentioned, they were given the authority to. So if these companies leave, and they are not able to pay the people money right now. The Konoka is saying that no, we're not going to do anything except to pay the money. Okay, the company that is owing it, if the company is not here anymore, who pays the money? Then I mean, they will just sit down with the pain, because organization refuse to investigate when they should have.
Well, Joe, you were just
I'm
doing
trying to get
you were just doing devil's advocacy for the FDA. Now you're saying
I'm
they've
taking
refused.
I'm taking it when we're discussing from 2019 to 2024. So I'm also on the past
the previous
government.
administration. I mean,
Yes.
it's a
Past
collective.
government.
It's a collective blame. When you say FDA, for me, I just
No,
put everybody
I'm not
in a
advocating for them. Let me be
in a
that clear.
bracket.
I'm
All
not-
right.
I'm encouraging
No,
them.
you are doing devil's advocacy, which is a good thing as a journalist, that you put yourself in a position where even when you were trying to raise a critical point about
Like, all right, blow breeze.
exactly, so the person would feel a little bit, relaxed, that, oh yes, I'm listening to that young lady. Maybe Mr. Mirab is not saying, but Matthias is not being honest with you in the conversation, but the young lady is trying to.
Nobody, I come back again and start back.
But anyway,
right.
let's engage the public, man. So, for example, in the case of Sing Africa Plantation, Liberia Limited, communities say more than 2,500 logs were abandoned, worth over $2 million, and that the company failed to pay promised social fees. In Masayaha's concession, roughly 595 logs were harvested and left in the open. Many of them have since rotted. Anyway, this is very, very important. You're listening to the program Forest Hour on OKFM 99.5. This program is brought to you by the Liberia Forest Media Award, with sponsorship from the European Union through the French Development Agency and Simempo in Finland. We are here every Thursday, 4 to 5 o'clock. Call us now on the numbers 0777 700 905, 0555 905 905 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matthias.
Good afternoon, sir. Let's hear you.
Okay, this is Mr. Dogbo. I call you from Deesville.
Mr. Dogba, please go ahead. Make your point, sir.
You know, the FDA is not doing the right thing. They have all of those laws on the book. Now, as we speak, the Tatwe Dripple Forest, the Atlantic, how they call it, Sino Forest, they got over 250 pieces of logs that they harvested. They are in that bush getting rotten. And the FDA, before the people can go in the bush to do the harvesting of the logs, FDA can get representative there. They know what is happening. And they know that the law is on the book, but they are playing blind eye to it. Not only that, the Atlantic resource, right there in Seabed, they got over 2,000 logs that got rotten in that place where people use them as a wool. And nothing happened. So it has become the hobbies of this logging company. Because FDA is playing blind eyes on the kind of thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Dogba, for your contribution on the program this afternoon. Call us on those numbers 0555 905 905, 0555 905 905, 0777 700 905 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this afternoon. You're listening to Forest Hour on OKFM 99.5. We are here 4 to 5 o'clock every weekday afternoon to talk about the forest issues in Liberia. And today we are talking about, earlier we played you an audio from the Deputy Managing Director for Community Conservation and Carbon. And at the same time, let's hear from this person. Hello.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm Kamara call from the single build.
Tamba, go ahead, sir.
I listened to you guys talking about the forum that is coming up to discuss the forest issue in Liberia. And I work with RRNN, the UN in Liberia, and we are having this project in the Gola landscape. So I was thinking whether we'll be invited to this dialogue so that we'll get more understanding, because we are in that landscape for the next 2 years.
Well, I wish I could give you a definite answer to your question. That is a very, sensible inquiry. But the FDA is listening. I hope they reach out to you, the IOM, to invite you. We are just, we are just messengers of good tidings.
Okay, then.
Thank
I'll
you.
be waiting for that.
Right. In fact, good, bad, and ugly tidings.
Right.
Let's hear from this one. Hello.
Matthias, good evening.
Let's hear you, sir.
Mr. Pleasant, good evening to Labyrinth following the show. I phone in from District 4.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I listened to the show and I follow bulk of what you said, but I have a little confusion. I don't know whether you be in a position to answer such question.
Let's try.
Okay, so my confusion comes in this direction. We are talking about some of those logs that are in our forest that are being abandoned. So what I care to know is that who are those that gave those that are deforesting some of our forests in this country? Who are those that gave them the leverage or gave them the authority to go down and cut down trees or fell trees down in the forest? Who are those giving them the authority? That's one. Number two, is it that people just go into the forest and start to fell trees down without having, the use or intent of those logs that they are cutting, or they just go randomly and just cut down trees? These are things that we need to know, because if for any reason you don't have an intent or purpose for cutting down the log, why will you go and cut down the log and then the log be abandoned to an extent where it gets rotting? So I really want to know as to whether they just go about just to do it, and who are those really giving them the authority to do so.
Okay, so let me respond to, I'm in a position to respond to the issue of the question of who are those giving the people the leverage to go into the forest and cut down the trees. According to the forest law of Liberia of 2009, it gives communities the right to manage their forest. But before a community becomes gets a forest status, community forest status, they must go through a process called 9 steps. Thereafter, now they can invite companies into their area, and then they get into logging. But before that, in fact, there will be an agreement. They will sign an agreement. When the agreement is signed, then the company will promise certain things, and then the community too will say, okay, you're going to accept all of that. And when the acceptance, when they get through with the signing, then the company goes in. So yes, it is the community people that gave, the authority, that they give the go-ahead to the companies to go into their communities and harvest the logs. On the issue of what if you don't have use for certain quantity of logs, then don't harvest it. That is a very critical observation you have. All right, because somebody gave you a bowl of rice to eat, that does not mean you should take the entire soup and dump it over the bowl. You can smartly use a plate and cut the portion you can eat.
Yeah, you don't know if you finish it.
Absolutely, and eat the portion so that you can be a responsible eater. But then unfortunately, it happens in the case of the forest. The people cut and cut and cut, thinking that they'll be able to ship all of the logs out of the country. But then unfortunately, they end up leaving a lot in the forest. And the FDA should get involved now and punish those companies. Let's hear from this person. Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, let's hear you.
Let me say hi to testimony from Central Monrovia.
Testimony, go ahead. You don't have any forest in Bomi, but just go ahead, make a point.
My get farm.
You can get forest back.
So farm you get.
I lose so low land you get over there.
But anyway, thanks to you and George and the listening public. And so I'm going to found this documentation to you so that you take it to your sponsor. But first, let me say thanks to all of us, and I hope that some are listening, because the job look at you, particularly to enemy communities about their forest, their village, is so magnanimous to you. I think this program has been able to inform the community developers about what they should be carrying on and the forest. So I'm just encouraging at least if they come up twice a week, I think they're gonna do better for.
No, the forest forum actually comes up once after every 2 years, so it can be twice a week. The forest forum is that. Man, ask more money to organize forest forum to take superintendents from all of the counties, bring them to Monrovia to play. Let's hear from this person. Hello.
How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Sancho Viega from Magivi County.
Mr. Viega.
Yeah, we the people from Magivi, one of the zero rainforest. When you say deep rainforest in
I mean,
Mali
but
country,
still, no, wow.
we get it. Deep rainforest.
Okay.
But we are not looking for the rainforest at all. FDA are doing nothing to secure that rainforest. They get people in our forest that do pay soil. They go and I know they go in the forest and rip. They stay with power saw, put it on the truck, bring it to Moria and anywhere. They sell it. And we, the people that in our forest, we are not benefiting completely. So before we want to make our farm, before we want to test the forest, they say you don't even test the forest, you don't even do anything in the forest. People coming to take care of the forest. Then you will see other group of people carrying saw and ripping the stick, cutting the stick down, put it on the truck and bring it to Moria, sell it. So we are kind of asking the representative then to see what they can do about our forest. Mark, we get one of the cheaper rainforests. You know, we can walk over 10 hours to reach to Karu. We are not benefiting at all. So,
okay.
And we're not doing anything about that. We will go in our forest, we will call the tree down, we pay our people, we pay our money.
I like the thread. You're not doing anything. So the forest is there. All right. So you're saying you see we should reserve the forest, conserve the forest, and so you don't want to come in. We'll go there and play our paper and do our thing. Joy, how would you like to close? We're not taking any more calls. Right.
Some time ago, my first assignment was in the Todi district. When I went to the Pieseto and another town to investigate something. On my way back, I met people in the forest, right? They were doing pit sawing, cutting the trees with, I think, power saw or something into to do. So I walked forward. I mean, we were just looking at the BB companies, right? They had to look at the small one. That's the reason why I brought this story. So I walked to them and I said, "Oh, what's going on here?" They said, "Oh, we're doing our logs. We're taking log. We're trying to do our playing and thing." I said, "Oh, is the company registered?" I said, "Yes, it's registered." I said, "Who gave you the authority?" They said, "Oh, I know the town chief was a lady. She gave these people authority." I said, "But then the FDA, you have any contact with the FDA?" And they said, "Not really, but you know those guys that can be on the road, and, you know, they are inspectors. Those are the ones we can go to, we give money." I mean, the guy was boldly telling me to my face. He said that people will not understand that the effect of cutting these trees down. It's not just about abandoned log. Okay, it's not just about money business. There are also other effects that flow along with it. When you cut the trees down, it can change the natural flow of the water, especially the swamp water. When you cut the trees down, it can create more flooding. It can make the soil less rich. That means that you'll not be able to do farming because the crop will not grow properly.
Because the roots of the tree also help to purify the water.
Yes.
When the roots die,
soil as well.
Right.
And then when you cut the trees down, the rotten logs, the abandoned rotten logs, it can also increase the carbon in the air. They will make it very difficult for us to fight climate change. Right? It will cause more damage for us. We should not just look at the one side. We should not just look at one side, the financial and all of that. Let's look at the other effect that it will cause climate change.
Right.
The sun will hard to, they are almost fainted. All of these things are the cause, Matthias Labindi.
Well, that's it, Joy. We have to go now. So that's it. That is my colleague Joy Madiemo. And Joy is the co-host of the program. The program is brought to you by the Liberia Forest Media Watch with sponsorship from the European Union through the French Development Agency in Simempo in Finland. We are here every Thursday, 4 to 5 o'clock, bringing you issues about the environment, particularly the forestry sector of our country. We hope we're able to inform you more on the sector today, talking specifically about abandoned logs. FDA, we've shared your information to the public, and I think that you might want to reach out to other international. Of course, she mentioned that there are going to be international organizations attending this program. The IMO, maybe you are going to be invited. But anyway, we're not going to be doing public relations for FDA. But that's all the time we have for today's edition of the program, Forest Hour. My name is Matthias Labindi. I've been here with my colleague Joy Madiemo. Join us again next Thursday for another interesting edition of the program.
It's the home